hey, we're up and running. A long time ago, I drove down this road. It's just a little old road. We're back roading it because nostalgia. There's room in the time budget, and I think there's a square body for sale over here for $600. It has all the parts we need for the battle wagon. So, material acquisition. Probably going to stop by 4 states, put a bug in their ear about, backpack, hammer repeater, who are you and how can I get this? Is this a thing already? They would know. So we're stopping in Joplin. Anyway, so I was driving down the road and I got pulled over for 136 and a 75 in a 1991 Pontiac Bonneville with the legendary 3800 Series 1 with a lock-up torque converter and a patched supercharger, and it would hold 6,500 RPM. It'd take you forever to get to speed, but well, it was decent. I mean, it was no, it was not, it wasn't set up for a quarter mile. It was set up to go from Oklahoma City to Arkansas in the dead of night and cruise at, above 40 plus. Anyway, so that, I was going down the Cherokee Turnpike, come over the hill, I heard blip blip on my radar detector, and it's rear-wheel drive. So if you know about driving, if you back out at those speeds, you'll spin like a top. That's what Slick figured on the first Fast and the Furious, where he just spins out for no reason. That's because he lifted off the throttle on a front-wheel drive car, and the ass end will try to come around, and it's ugly pretty quick. So you got to back out. You know what I mean? In stages, kind of like we're driving a truck. You can't just stay on the brake. You gotta. It's called stab braking in a truck, anyway. So I go down the hill, backing out of it, and then I'm coming up the other side, and now I'm completely off the throttle. By the time I'm coming up the other side, and when I top the hill, I heard blip. I topped the hill the next time, it was bleep like that, and he was sitting at the bottom of the hill, shooting in my face with the radar gun, and got me at 136. Now, I went back and looked, and from the blip at the top of the hill, down the hill, and then back up the other hill, just over the crest of the hill was the next mile marker. So I was slowing down for approximately 1 mile when I got hit with 136 and a 75. And, yeah. So, he takes me to jail, whatever. I go to court, and the judge says, I'm like 18, right? And the judge says to me, you know what happens if you blow a tire at 136 miles an hour? And I said, well, Your Honor, they're Z-rated tires. They're good for 190. And he says, we'll let you think about that for the weekend. And bang the gavel. It was like Wednesday or Thursday, right? So I got to wait till Monday to come back to court. And they put me in a room by myself, and there was a Bible in there. And, well, they put me with the regular people, and then like I'm 18, and everybody else is, grizzled Oklahomans. So they want to test a fella, and they found out, and I wound up in a box by myself, and there was a Bible in there, and I was bored, and that was the only time I literally got bread and water. They literally had us on bread and water. Anyway, went to cell by myself, flipped through the Bible, and it said Job, but I thought it said job. I thought, well, hell, I'm going to need another job by the time I get out of here. Don't call no show for several days. And back then, they didn't put up with stuff like that. And anyway, so I read the book of Job. And I see Job's a righteous guy. and God like sicked the devil on him and everything and taught him a lesson about, and Job had a form of pride, don't get me wrong. But I learned so much from that. That was the first book of the Bible I actually read. I had heard a little gospel and this, that, and the other various occasions, but that was the first time I was there, and like literally forced. The rod and the staff comfort me, like the Lord is my shepherd. So like the God allowed me to have the provision, the car. He gave me enough rope to hang myself, and then while I'm hanging, the only way out of this, boredom of seclusion was to read the book, and He guided me into that, and then I learned more about God in the process, and acquired this wonderful wisdom and stuff, but I wasn't smart enough to apply it. Okay, so like, let me throw that out there, because I'm a jackass, right? Okay, through various wiles of the devil, I have been tricked a lot. Okay, so if I come across like a know-it-all, it's not that I don't feel like I know everything, but I ain't fallen for the same shit twice. And I'm 44 years old, and I've learned the hard way. I'm hard way degraphed, right? You know what I mean? Anyway, so I look at these other deals like Sodom and Gomorrah, and it's like knocking off, and we're gonna get smashed out, right? And it's like raining sulfuric fireballs. You know what I mean? You think a hailstorm's bad. What if that was sulfur on fire and the size of a basketball? You ever get hit with a basketball? Imagine like, you know how raindrops, just a drop of water. But then if it rains and it's like, miles wide, how much water's falling out of the sky? How much does that weigh? Okay, so now we think about hailstones, and then we think about fiery sulfuric balls falling from the sky to decimate the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, this is getting pretty intense, right? So you see God's hand in the book of Job. You see how he dealt with Sodom and Gomorrah, and then you look at Jonah. How did he deal with Jonah? You look at the stories with Elijah and all that, the stories with Gideon and all that and everything. And when these people were in these dire straits, it sucked, man. It's hard, all right? But where there's no repentance, they are wiped out. And where there's, a genuine apology and more importantly, a turnaround to do right, dedicated to do right, you got this come to Jesus moment or whatever, and people kind of look at that with like kid gloves, puppies and kittens. Well, I'm sorry about this, that, and the other, whatever. That's it, yeah, it's a thing or whatever. But then there's like, there is a fiery whirlwind in front of you speaking, and you're like, sir, yes, sir. It's just like, dude, it is so off the chart, man. You need to get into some Old Testament and look at who God is. The sun is reflecting the presence of God. That's how it burns. It never gets any smaller, for the record. He said, let there be light, and light was. Days later, he made the sun and the moon as, that's where that truck was. Anyway, this is more important. I guess I wasn't supposed to buy it. Anyway, see how he looks after me? Anyway, so stay about kingdom business all the time. Putting God first. See, I just put God first. Saved myself $600 in a potential hassle. But yeah, anyway. Repentance. You have got to study that word. And then like, what is sin? Sin is breaking the law. What is the law? Go back and read Deuteronomy. Go back and read Numbers. You know what I mean? Literally keep the Sabbath. Keep God's name holy and set apart. Hallowed be thy name. He said, how do we pray? He did not say what. The disciples did not ask Jesus, what should we pray? That's not what it says. It says, how should we pray? Like, hey hey, Jesus, I notice that you're talking to the creator of the universe all the time, and how should I go about doing that? You know, it seems like a real basic question, and literally everybody's had that question. And I'm so grateful that we all quote it, I'm so glad that used to everybody quoted it and they could say it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the power and the glory forever. Amen. Right? That's an outline, a structure. That's a structure for the prayer. You know what I mean? So as you go, if you write it down. So write down the Lord's Prayer, and then run your daily prayer next to that in that structure. Use God's order in your prayer for your healing, for your prosperity, for your marriage, for your peace of mind, whatever it is. Write that down on this side. Oh, no. That's why you get this. The Lord's Prayer on this side. Here's your day. Then you write down whatever over here. Right? Okay. So on this side over here, write out your prayer. Like acknowledge, Dad. Hey, Dad. Our Father, who art in heaven. Hey, Dad. Creator of the universe. The one above it all. Hallowed be thy name. I want to honor your day. I want to honor who your person is. I want to honor your job title and your structure and your you. You know what I mean? And just continue appropriately as a how, not a what. Use the how structure, apply it to your what, and complete your prayer in the order to break down. I mean, that's literally His will being done in the earth through my fingers, through my yapper. Okay, so, you know what I mean? I can confidently expect that to have a significant outcome in my goings on, in my dailies. Pretty sure it just saved me $600. You know what I mean? Like, dude. Anyway. I forget where I started it off with this. Oh, yeah. So I was reading it during the book of Job. You know what I mean? I see these different outcomes, and I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed later in my study to run across these things called the prophets, right? And they were like, did y'all read this? Are y'all doing what this says? Oh, by the way, God Himself told me He's going to kill you if you don't pull your head out of your ass. Excuse me, that's redneck way. That's biblical degraft translation. I will kill you because of your disobedience. That's what it says. Hey, that's what it says, man. So this guy would show up to the town and over and over and over. And even Jesus is rebuking him. And he's like, you guys killed the prophets. Like, God sent people to save you. And what did you give them in return? Death. You know what I mean? So here I am. America, repent, because God is going to kill you if you don't. And now I'm pretty sure the police are going to arrest me for some reason. Kept my head off, like I came to this determination probably 20 years ago, and I'm just like, fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, it's the second death you got to worry about, not the first. So, you know what I mean? You don't cut my head off, get the cut, you know what I mean? But somewhere in the mix, I'm like, I want to be a hard target, you know what I mean? I want to be maybe they're going to round me up and kill me, sure, whatever, you know what I mean? I'll die for this shit, whatever, you know what I mean? You get a little gangster about it, but then on the other hand, it's like, I want to kill them back. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna cut my head off, you know, I'd prefer to cut your head off first and then not die. Like, that seems reasonable to me. You know what I mean? I'm here, they're there. They proceed to try to cut my head off, and I cut their head off. You know, they're trying to cut, and I cut them off with their head. At that point, you know, am I wrong? Am I wrong? You know, I mean, that's a natural feeling. It seems reasonable. You know what I mean? We're gonna slap each other in the mouth and declare a duel or whatever. And then you'll hear them say, "Oh, well, turn the other cheek." Then you look into that, and it's like, well, you know, this guy Paul was talking, and then they punched him in the face, and they said, he's like, "Well, what do you hit me for?" And he's like, "You talk shit to the high priest." He's like, "Well, I didn't know that," or whatever, and then just keeps telling them straight at it. You know what I mean? And that's what that is. That means, like, even if you get punched in the face, just keep talking to them. Just keep telling them straight at it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Now, see, it's the fact that I am not perfected, and that I, you know, still sin on occasion. You know, try not to, man. You know what I mean? And then Paul's talking about, did I really sin, or is it the sin living in me that did it? And I'm like, and most people use that for a cop-out, but when I read that, I'm just like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, it's living in me? You know what I mean? Like, my flesh is sinning because it's out of my control, and I'm like, fuck that. You know what I mean? I ain't putting up with no tobacco. You know what I'm saying? I ain't afraid of no ghost, because I got the Holy Ghost. And God said I got dominion over the plants. I literally quit smoking cigarettes because I was like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, I got mad enough. Like, I get mad and kill the enemy. Like, that's what I do. That's my success story. You know what I mean? It's like stubbornly strong enough to overwhelm the enemy with, you know, force. Whatever force that may be. Sometimes it's talking. Sometimes it's a shift in mindset. Sometimes it's, you know, starving out. You know what I mean? Like, if you leave your dog outside on a chain and don't give it no food and water in the 100-degree sun, within a week, that dog is dead because you starved him out, right? So whatever sin's in your life, have you considered starving it? And then it says if the demon goes out, it finds something even worse and comes back. So, like, you get on that carnivore diet, you lose, you know, 100 pounds over a year, right? Then you're like, oh, well, I'm doing good, you know, and you just go, you know, Twinkies and, you know, Fritos, and, you know, just drinking beer and everything, and do that for a year. You're actually going to wind up fatter and sicker than you would have been. Like that guy that did that movie, Super Size Me, that dude died. That did not work out for him at all. And he wasn't even, I think I'm older than he is. For real. So, you know, anyway. All over the place. Off the Rails with Skip, volume today. You know, we're having a good time. Shout out to Dusty Slay in the trailer park. He said that joke. He said, and now I heard this is hilarious, man. He said, the weatherman got on TV. It's like there's a tornado or whatever like that. He's like, go to somebody's house or go to a shelter. Or if you're in a trailer house, go outside and lay down in the ditch. Oh, man, did they really used to say that? I don't know if they do still, but back in the day, they really said that, man. I just laughed till I cried when I heard that. It's like, go outside, lay in the ditch. And how many times would we consider, you know, like, and that's solid advice. You know what I mean? In a tornado, you don't want to be in a trailer house. I have cleaned up many situations. And, yeah, I was talking with with the wife last night, and she said, you know, kiss the financials and everything else like that. Like I'm trapped. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like I can slow down to a normal person's pace and do the 30-year mortgage. You know, 2.5 kids and all that, whatever. But like, yeah, like I'm paying off a $600,000 house in less than 7 years. Like that's my pace. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And there's like other things going on as well. But it's a grueling pace, right? And then like the other people that are supposed to be pulling the rope let go of the rope. So now it's just like, you know, I'm at anchor point with my heels dug in. And by doing it the way that I'm doing it, it saves $400,000. So I can't lose sight of that, right? So, So like I get there quicker and I save like an amazing amount. And then, you know, God set all this stuff up. So now it's just like I'm backed in a corner. Well, I gotta drive the truck. And I prayed everything like that. I said, God, you let me drive this truck. I said, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drive this truck for about 15 years. And just like a friend sitting here, I just hear in my head, yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be good. You know what I mean? And I remember, you know, here it is 5 years later. I like went by my house. I literally went by my house to wash the dishes for my wife and leave. Like, I don't even think she was home. So, like, I'm just passing through, you know what I mean? And the schedule means I can't stop for a day or two. Just the delivery. Well, I had to do a 30-minute break. So I stopped for a 30-minute break, catch an Uber to the house, wash the dishes, and then leave, right? And on another time, I was there for a 34-hour break. And, well, I'm standing there, and I'm washing the dishes, because my wife has less anxiety if she sees that the sink is clean. Like if you, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if there's anxiety in your house, stop going to bed with dishes in the sink. Like, do the dishes. Like, when I say do the dishes are not done until they are dry and in the cabinet. For the record, okay, let's fully establish that your eating utensils, your cooking stuff, and everything, you wash it, you rinse it, you dry it, maybe you run it through a dishwasher or not, whatever, and then you put it up. Then you're done doing the dishes. Anything on the countertops, anything in the sink, you are not done yet. Finish the job. And watch the difference in your family. Like do it like be real honest. And here we go with write it down again. Be real honest, and for a week, write down the condition of the house, each individual's overall, you know, just kind of be like, well, they were a little fussy today, or hey, they were having a great day, you know, did great in school, whatever. And note the dishes. Okay, and do that for like a week. And then change it up. Like, go like a month without saying nothing. And then do the dishes every day. And actually done. Squirrel. Literally a squirrel. And then track that for a week. And on a Sunday or whatever else like that, when you're sitting around there eating with the family and you got a moment, then tell them what you did and say, hey, we're going to do this for the next 4 weeks. And now everybody knows what's going on. So you got they didn't know before and after. now they do know, and we're going to work together. And then at the end of 4 weeks, this little family project, we're going to sit back and talk about this situation, and then have a pizza party or whatever you do. You know what I mean? Some type of celebratory, we kicked its tail as a family unit, taking over the earth for Jesus type of deal, right? And, yeah, that's a great project. That is a great project. There's all kinds of stuff like that. And see, I'm out here driving around. I don't get to do this stuff because I'm out here driving around and I don't have a family really, like mine. Well, a lot of people growed up and left, and it's just like me and the wife and Dennis, so, and then I'm out here, they're there. But I see such a lack of, maybe everybody's doing that, and I just don't know. But based on the crime rate in the United States, I don't think people are doing that. You know what I mean? When you talk about make America great again, that means that everybody sits down at a table and has dinner together, like 3 times a week. Like, for sure, one meal around the table, the entire family, once a week, of everybody that has that mailing address. You know what I mean? Like, that is what making America great again looks like. All this other stuff is just BS. You get the family thing right, everything else will work out. You know what I mean? You get this, man, I wish I had the camera the other way. They had all their rock bouncers headed out there to Disney Dam to go climbing, rock crawling. Anyway, if you don't know what a rock bouncer is, get on YouTube, type in rock bouncer, and the word Oklahoma. You'll like it. You'll be blessed if you do. And I'm telling you, like 5 years ago, when things were cheap, like 5-6 years ago, man, you could come out here and you could buy a house on 40 acres for $120,000. And like, the house was crappy, but it was a house. You know what I mean? So, like, it's not going to be nice, but it's there. You know what I mean? It's different these days. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. But I am going to go up here to Joplin. I'm over here at the Miller Pecan up by Afton. We got Highway 60. Go straight or go to the side for 59. I'm going to go up here instead of going over the overpass, I'm going to cut across, take the back way into Joplin. I think I'm getting close to Grove, Oklahoma. Anyway, they got a pretty good cafe right there. Everything's so expensive. I did get to eat with the elders, and we went in there, and man, all 4 of us sitting down and ate at Thomas's Diner, and the elders are so frugal. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, these beef tips or these, hamburgers. I mean, even a hamburger steak and gravy was only $14. You know what I mean? And there was 4 of us or whatever. We all ate. It was $32. I ended up getting French toast. I haven't eaten French toast in I don't know how long. And then that's what Cheryl had. And Dad, he's just a biscuits and gravy kind of guy. And Eddie had an omelet, and their drinks and everything else. It was such a good price. I left a $10 tip. You know what I mean? It's like, all 4 of us ate $150. Me and my wife and Dennis go out to eat at they got this, it's right there at the Lowe's. Somewhere, Rita's Cafe, Rita Casa, or something like that. Anyway, you can go in there and you can get the fajitas for $4, and it's great food. I mean, it's authentic Mexican and everything, but it's kind of McDonald's. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's $75. You go to Big Alito's right there in Sanger. You go in there and you order fajitas for $4 and drinks, and sit down and have some nacho cheese or whatever, waiting on it. yeah, that's $150. You know, I go eat with the people that are where I'm from, and it's $37. You know, it's like, hey. I mean, with the $10 tip and everything, it was $37. You know, so like, I mean, if you're going to ride it out, you might be thoroughly impressed with the amount of capabilities in northeastern Oklahoma. You really, it's a good place to be. I mean, I've been driving since I've seen this video. I've seen 3 rivers, at least 20 industrial chicken houses. There's cows everywhere. I mean, there's a whole thing of hay bales right there. There's, you know, a 300-acre farm right there. I just planted a place with pecans. Right next to it is Farmers Oil, truck driving, a premier trucking company. Like, their regular drivers are driving show trucks. Any one of their trucks is $250,000 without the trailer, just the truck. I mean, that's just the way they roll, and been doing that for a long time, you know. And like this guy right here, like, he's just got deer out in his front yard. You know, he's got a 1-ton truck, some side-by-sides, you know, 5 or 6 horse trailers, you know, a L88 Corvette. And that's, you ain't gonna tell what's in that barn. You know, there's a pond right there. You know, here's the next neighbor. You know, little old small farmhouse, and like, you know, 5 acres of barns, and looks like a 1950 Chevrolet truck sitting out front. Just yard art. Yeah. Hey, like, and right there's a grain elevator. You know what I mean? There's some train tracks right there. Like right there. There's the train tracks right there. There's a grain elevator. Here's the next neighbor outfit. You see what I'm saying? Here's another neighbor's outfit. You know what I mean? I mean, we got a little bit of trees. We got some farming. You know what I mean? There's a communications box. Look at the communications box. You know what I mean? There's some place to work. There's some factories. You know what I mean? And here, this guy, he had what's a bunch of storage buildings for a little side income, a little side hustle. You know what I mean? And I mean, you know, it's just on and on. It's just on and on. And that's the way they roll. Like, I mean, that guy, he's got the solar, you know, if the power goes out, we're like, hey, you know, he's got the deal. And there's EMFA oil. Like, here's some propane. Oh, there's propane right here. What does it take to go over and get some propane? There's another propane bottle right there. There's 16 90s 4-wheel drive Chevrolet trucks for sale. All different styles. And you go over there and buy. You can take $5,000 cash and get a truck that'll get you from A to B and probably be ugly, but get the job done. You know, you have to put a little work into it every now and then. They're old trucks, you know what I mean? Got a little issue here and there, but yeah, everything you need. And these people right here, I mean, if you're in with them, you're good to go. And if you do them dirty, your life will be a giant pain in the neck. They can really put the hurt on you. Well, in truck driving, what they'll do, they call it unofficial disciplinary actions. Okay? Now, what that is, in a trucking company, is they cut your miles and starve you out. Now, as a government, they will, bring in replacement migrants, and then they won't help you when there's a disaster. So that's unofficial disciplinary action. Like, oh, you're voting Republican, are you? Oh, and now a hurricane has hit your state. Well, We don't have nobody for you. Sorry about that. Hope that works out for you. On the other hand, I've said for years that Florida's nice because of FEMA. Let's not sugarcoat nothing here, but they rebuild the whole state like every 10 years. Anyway, I'm off the rails. Probably pissing people off saying the truth. But yeah, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna talk to these other boys about these repeaters. There's a whole field of horses right there. See 3 mules and 30 horses. You know, any one of these groups, homesteads, they're fine. You know, they turn off the electricity, the water. They go about 90 days. And look around where you're at. Then imagine you're here. There's a freaking water well truck to dig a water well right there. They were digging a water well in that guy's front yard right now. And the truck looked like it's a 1950 model. Had the thing, the derrick stood up and everything. They're digging a well right there. Now over here, look, there's probably 60 head of just black Angus standing there. You know, here's another 200 bales of hay. Barn big enough to park this truck in. 2-bedroom house. It's just different, you know what I mean? How much house do you need? You're out working in the field all the time. I live right there. There's my whole house right there. That's where I live right there. You know what I mean? There's like a bed and about that far. I can take 1-2 steps and I'm home. And you know, how much does that save me? You know, there's an outfit, you know, that's a welding shop right there. Loppers Metal Works. Yeah. And over here we got a place that's building trailers. So if you needed to do anything, see, a 4-state trailer right there. Was it 918-676-5100? I mean, right now, I'll tell you right now, these boys, when they manufacture something, they do it right. They do it right because their dad will beat their ass if they don't. And they got this thing here where, like, because they're kind of Indian, kind of white boy mixture, like a hybrid, you know, Cherokee white boy mix. And there's some Cayuga, Seneca up in this way. So like the survivors of the Trail of Tears, and then like, you know, the outlaws, like imagine the Wild West, okay, and it's, you know, pretty out there, and then the people that weren't good enough for that society, they went to Indian country, which is Oklahoma, to avoid prosecution. You know what I mean? So like the criminals, you know, when I was a kid, they'd be like, you know, rob a bank and go to Mexico, or whatever, right? Well, in 1850, you know, you rob a bank and go to Oklahoma. Then when you got here, there's like massive tribes of Indians that were like, they didn't like it. Like, you need to watch some of the old Clint Eastwood movies. That's tame. And when you see like the grit that the old boys had and stuff like that, that's kind of standard. But the movie part was like some type of honorable shootout. No, it was, you know, get their attention over here so your guy over here can shoot him in the back and whatever, no matter, you're dead. Take his stuff. You know what I mean? So it's kind of guerrilla in that aspect. So anyway, Oklahoma's just different. And yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with all that, but we're going to go over here and see if we can, you know, talk with these old boys about acquiring a backpack repeater and see if we can establish an assembly line to obtain and manufacture repeaters, and then somehow make it cool for everybody to have one in a truck, so that the ham radio system in the United States will be as robust, like a rolling AT&T. You know what I mean? And just like secondary calls America. Secondary calls America.com. That would be fucking awesome. Let's see if we can set that up. Hey, if you're watching this video and you can set that up, set that up. Set that up. You know what I mean? Like, we're crossing the Ocho River. Dio, show the river. Oh, Dio, show the river. Oh, show the river. You know, you got to respect a state that's got a weed pipe on the flag. I mean, seriously. And then the people are like, no, that's not a weed pipe. That's a peace pipe. I'm like, okay, really? Really? So you're trying to make peace with a tribe of Indians. What do you think they're putting in the pipe? You know what I mean? Anybody that's ever smoked weed in your life has been to a place where they sit around and they're like, well, try this. Oh, well, mine's better, try this. Oh, well, mine's better, try this. You know, if I get stoned and carry on all night long, it's a national tradition from the Native Americans. Like, that's a real thing. Like, the reason weed was made illegal was to control the native population. Because if I can get you on some trumped up weed charges, then, you know, I can take your driver's license, I can hinder your ability to do commerce and everything else like that. Now, if you're, you know, broke and fucked up in the game, I got you by the balls. You know what I mean? Because you're going to spend all this, you know, youthful vigor trying to get out of trouble instead of, like, you know, establishing your own government. I think they call it an LLC now. What's the bylaws of your country? You know, like, you know, your business plan is like your Declaration of Independence. You know, like, I'm declaring, you know, I'm setting up this, you know, ministry, this business, this corporation, whatever, entity. You know, like, I'm establishing this entity in the earth. There's some more show cars going by. Anyway, we're going past the turtle stop over at the Lucky Turtle. And then, like, even the turtle's got 13. It's got the turtle is the calendar. Anyway, we're all over the place. You know, just document the journey and then just throw some stuff out there. That's what we're going to do today. I'm gonna see if I can re-Peter the country, because everybody's fucked. Well, there ain't no cell phones. It should be, you know, an encouraging thing. Now, I'm gonna throw this out there. Now, if you get inspired to do something, does it matter where it comes from? Does it matter where it comes from? Like, if you're inspired to any degree by anything I ever say, dude, run with it. If you want to make a clip or content or whatever like that, I highly recommend that you privately, you know, use my content to the fullest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here to help. Like, I don't give a shit about money or nothing like that. So, do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? You get my full consent. But I want to say this. If I'm inspired to do something that's good, and I do it to bring glory to God, great. You know what I mean? If I got this inspiration to do something, and it's all, you know, greed and all this other stuff that's backing it, and it comes from, like, satanic influence or whatever, you know what I mean? I gotta have pause on that deal, you know what I mean? And then, like, ill-gotten gains is a thing, and then there's, like, blood money. You know what I mean? Like, those guys that paid Judas, when he tried to give them the money back, they wouldn't take it. You know what I mean? So what is all that about? You know what I mean? So, like, if you got this, you know, it was a revelation a guy had, to whatever degree, through his studies. They had, like, a paparazzi thing, and they would follow around the celebrity, and it's cool to give to this or cool to give to that. So to be part of the in crowd, they donated to some ministry that ultimately was funding what was going on with Jesus when Jesus was walking around. And it was very interesting to hear it. Of course, it may have just been a good story or may have been factual. I do not know. But it made me think, like, how many times do you see, like what if Bill Gates sets up some factory to do whatever, and the guy working at that factory gets a paycheck where he earned an honest paycheck, but it's at a weirdo-ass factory. And then he takes that honest paycheck and he uses it for the kingdom of God. Like, where is that money clean and where is it crap? You know what I mean? Because let's say that the factory, is emitting some pollution that down the line is killing everybody. You know what I mean? Well, let's get personal, Skip. What if you're driving a semi-truck, making money, hauling all this stuff, and you know that some of this stuff is going to be used to, manufacture stuff that is killing the earth and the people of God's kingdom? You know what I mean? Like, am I selling out the kingdom so I can have a fancy house in 7 years? You know what I mean? Like, some of this stuff gives me pause. It really does. And it's like, you'll hear the come out of her my people, and it's like, where's the line? Do I need to go full Amish on this deal? You know what I mean? Should I be homeless and refuse to work and just have like that one guy that's got he's got 3 sheep that pull the cart, and he lives off of goat cheese, and he's got a metal spray bottle, pump spray bottle to take a shower, and he's just walking with his cart, and he stays on the West Coast where it doesn't freeze because he's close to the water or whatever. I mean, where's the line? Hell, I heard a guy, a fancy financial guy, and he said, world-renowned financial guru, and he said, we come to the conclusion that a 1993 Toyota Camry is the level where it's people will talk down because you running a business and doing stuff and you got a fancy car. You know what I mean? And then is your car going to break down and quit? So he's like, well, we thought about it and everything, and the consensus comes back, a 93 Toyota Camry with a dent in the door. It has to have a dent in the door. That way you're, reliable yet frugal, whatever. It's just where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? Because, we're in the world, but we're not of the world. So I go back to there's a part in there where the disciples seen some jackass that was preaching just to get money out of folks. So he was doing the work. He was being hands and feet. But his motivation and his heart was greed. So he didn't put God first. He put money first. But his avenue of expertise and work was promoting the gospel. And Jesus said, don't stop him, let him do it. Because if today he's talking good about the kingdom, he won't be able to easily tomorrow come against the kingdom. So, and then one of the translations says something about good or bad, the gospel's being preached. And maybe that's the same gospel, different translation. Anyway, there's 4 gospels. It's in there. You can look that up, figure that out for yourself. What my takeaway from that was that the God bless. I don't care why you're giving me a Bible. I don't care why you're helping me. I'm drowning and somebody reaches in to get me out of the drowning. I don't care what race, creed, color. You know what I'm saying? I am glad to not drown. You know what I mean? So, some of this stuff, I am thoroughly convinced. Now, this is controversial. I hate being controversial. I'm always real safe. Sometimes you take the money from the evil bastards and you use the money for the kingdom. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes you take the money from them evil bastards and use it for the kingdom. I don't go into contracts where I'm beholden to the evil bastards. But if some evil bastard's going to give me money, I'm going to take it. And like, when they come around and they say, oh, well, I just watched that movie, Joe Kid. Clint Eastwood, Joe Kid. I watched it last night. And they got him out of jail. And they were pretending to go hunt, but they were really going to kill this guy over some land. And Joe Kid walks in there and he says, no. And the guy said, well, I just paid $10 to get you out of jail. You're just going to have to sit for 10 days. They said, if it's that big a deal, just go get your money back and I'll go sit for 10 days. And he just walked off the lip. Well, he stopped by and told that blonde he'd be back after a while. And then he just left, right? And then other stuff happened and he ended up, doing stuff, whatever. Anyway, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this for sure. And, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. This is controversial. Perhaps I should look. Perhaps there's a law, a Torah of such things. But I'm not going to take money. Nobody's going to pay me to do certain things. Like I ain't going to take money. What I freely get, I give freely. You know what I mean? And then, if somebody wants to freely give to me, then I'll make it up front. Hey, look, if you want to freely give me XYZ, cool. But don't think that you're buying favor. Don't think that you're buying friendship or any of that kind of stuff, because that's free. Like, I'll be your friend because you're friendly. You don't have to buy that. It's not for sale. You know what I mean? But if that same person who happens to be my friend is like, hey man, here, take this 60 grand and do what you need to do. I'm like, thank you. And I'm going to do good things with that money, and I'm going to make sure that God is glorified in the process, because that's what I do. And I don't have a whole bunch of people just giving me money all the time. You know what I mean? It's not like that. But like, I literally got out of prison, and within 4 days, a guy gave me a house, and then another guy gave me, use of 5 trailers. You know what I mean? And then another guy gave me another house. He's like, well, this is my rent house or whatever. You can have it for now, blah, 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 this and that. You know what I mean? So, for all intents and purposes, I had 2 houses and 5 trailers. You know what I mean? And that was something that I experienced or whatever. And then later in life, I gave away a house. I mean, like, here you go. Cars. I love giving away a car. Your car is like your ability and your lifeline to interact in the United States. You know what I mean? Without a car, boy, it sucks. And I've seen something. You get out away from town, out these sticks, out these hills, and you ain't got no way to get to town. Like I used to tell people, I work harder than you do to get back and forth to work. Which is another reason why I love having a bed right here behind me, Like my commute is 2 steps. And then I complain about living in the parking lot. So it's like, it is what it is. I guess I need to change the channel to road tripping. I'm always talking about some crazy shit. Well, folks, I'm going to take this next left, and I'm about 6 miles from 4 states. We'll go over here and see if these old boys can witness up a repeater and what something like that would cost. That's 4 states. They're the Crow Shop Mafia. There was like a TV show about them and stuff. Anyway, that's right over here. Like I'm 6 or 7 miles from there. Let's see here. All right, Raquel, go get them.